Hello all, welcome back to my channel. This is Future B with another video. In this video, I am going to be doing a set that was done by Long Hair Pretty Nails, and I'm going to be taking a note from her. In this video, she was using polygel to show which polygel is the clearest. I'm going to be using these acrylics to see which one is the clearest. We have Saviland, Modelones, Beetles, and there's a Glam and Glitz one there, but I'm going to change that one out for a Mia Secret. If you've been watching my videos, you know that I use Mia Secret Clear most often. Sometimes I use Glam and Glitz Clear, but for this set, yeah, I'm going to be using the Mia Secret Clear. There are some of the little stone type things that I found at Hobby Lobby, and I'm going to be using silver glitter instead of the yellow glitter that she used whenever she was doing her set. In her set, she also used several different types of stones, different colors for each finger. I'm just going to be using these two on each finger. So the way that I showed the different acrylics is the way that they're going to be used. On my thumb is where the Mia Secret is going to go. My pointer is going to have the Beetles. My middle finger will have the Modelones, and my pinky finger is going to have the Saviland. My ring finger is actually going to be like an accent nail, and I'm actually going to use Glam and Glitz to do that one, but it's not really a part of this little experiment to see which acrylic is the clearest, so I'm not going to really show that nail, but I will show all the others. I chose these clears because you can get all of them on Amazon. As you know, if you have watched my other videos, I really like Amazon because I can get things and I can get them quickly. Here in my town, really in my county and my region, there isn't a nail supply store, so I can't really go somewhere and get nail supplies, but I can go to Amazon and get things very quickly. So I really like to use Amazon. And for other DIYers, Amazon is really cost effective. It's really easy to just get products and keep it moving. So I wanted to do all products that you could find on that site. As I said, these stones, I found them at Hobby Lobby. I think the price tag on them said like $3.50, but they were like buy one get one free or half off or something like that, and so I got them for even cheaper. So in all, this set was really inexpensive. And the brush that I'm going to be using on this set is a size 12 Kolinsky brush. My thoughts on these acrylics in general is that they were all incredibly easy to use. The Mia Secret, obviously, you know, I use that one a lot, so as I'm talking about them, I might compare them to the Mia Secret one a lot. But in comparison to Mia Secret, the Modelones acrylic was very runny. It wasn't a bad thing, but it was runnier than the Mia Secret one. It just meant that it took the powder a little longer to set. I had a little longer to work with it, and if I didn't want it running all over the place, I needed to let it set a little bit before I put it on the nail. I did take that into consideration as I was learning to use it. The Beetles one was a moderate as far as how quickly it dried. I think that was pretty good, and I think the Saviland one dried in a moderate way as well. Overall, I think you really can't go wrong in using any of these acrylic powders. I think they all worked well, and just like with any powder by any brand, you do have to learn how to use it. And so I think that all of these worked really well in this design. This design came out very pretty. I did have an issue with these stones though, however. They're like these little kind of like shells, and that's kind of what Long Hair Pretty Nails used whenever she was doing her set, were like some little shells that she actually crushed up. These are already crushed up, as you can see, but the problem with them was that some were thick and some were thin. The ones that were thick, obviously I couldn't use because it was going to make the nail too thick, but the thin ones were really good. As I'm working here, you'll see me like knock off a few of them as I'm working, and that's because they were really thick and I needed to use some thinner ones. Also in this video, I am working with my dominant hand on my non-dominant hand, and although I don't do it with most sets, with this one I did the same design on both hands. I'm not going to show show you doing, show me doing my other hand in this video, but I did do my other hand, and I did it the exact same way, using the exact same acrylics on the corresponding fingers. And I did it that way because I wanted to duplicate the process on each hand, so that whenever I gave a review of these acrylic powders, I could say that it was indeed true. Because sometimes when you do things on one finger one way, and then you try to duplicate it again, it doesn't turn out the same way. So using these powders on each hand, on the corresponding finger on each hand, I was able to see if it really does perform how I thought it performed. And it worked out because all of them performed as I thought they would. They were all pretty good. None of them were bad. None of them were horrible. It worked out. As you can see right here, I'm working on my ring finger, kind of doing a little bit of a different design. What I did was put a little gel polish down on the nail because I wanted a little bit of color to come through on this one, because this one is not going to be completely clear as all the others are. I'm going to do a little white acrylic in a couple of places on that nail, and I'm gonna leave a strip of clear where the gel polish is and where the stones are. It's gonna come out like a pretty nice accent nail. And then on top of that nail, I'm gonna go in with some gel polish, and that's gonna be my way of doing a little texture on that nail. I wanted to have a little texture. I didn't really want it to look like a print of any design, but I wanted it to have a little texture to it. Here are the nails after all the acrylic has been laid. I didn't show me encapsulating, but I encapsulated each of the nails, and here is what it looks like before I file. Let's go over what it was like to file these nails. I think filing is an important portion of the process, and each of these nails was pretty easy to file. I don't think the powders were too thin or too thick. If you're working with like dip powder, you know that they're just so finely milled that you really, for the most part, don't have to use a nail drill on them. You can just use a hand file. I didn't find that was the case with these. Each of them did need the nail drill used on the nails, but they were easy to file. It was not hard to file. It wasn't getting chunks coming off. It worked pretty well. So my final thoughts on the nails were they all looked pretty clear, but I did notice that my pinky nail on both hands had a little bit of a yellow tint to it. The pinky nail was done with the Saviland acrylic. It did have a little bit of a yellow tint to it. All the others were just perfectly clear. If I was to rate them in order, I would say that the Mia Secret and Glam Goods came in first place. Then I would say Modelones. The Beetles was not a standout. It wasn't bad. It just wasn't the best. It wasn't really all that memorable, and that's not a bad thing. It worked exactly as it was supposed to, and that's what you want from any product that you're using. You want it to work as it is supposed to work, and it did that. It definitely did that. But the Saviland one did have a little bit of a yellow tinge to it. I don't think that is that bad. It's just me trying to find something to make them stand out together. All in all of them were good powders to use. I don't think you can go wrong with any of them. So if you are shopping on Amazon and you are looking for a clear acrylic powder that is indeed clear, all of these are great options. Again, if you've worked with any of these powders, please let me know your thoughts. What do you think? Which one do you like to work with? Or have all of these worked out pretty well for you? In general, these are all my opinions. If you've had a different experience, please let me know. But this was my experience working with all of these powders. You really can't go wrong. They were all great. And again, this is a recreation of a set that was done by Long Hair Pretty Nails. I did my own twist to it, so it probably doesn't look too much like hers, but she was the inspiration for it. Please let me know what you think. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.